We are waiting to go live on YouTube. We are now live on YouTube. We are live on Comedy Schools Radio Network.com. And in just a brief moment, we will be live on Facebook. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, moms and dads, children of all persuasion. Welcome to Thursday in America. It is 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. You know what that means. It means it's time for Living on a Thin Line. Our daily, we say it's not a podcast, it's a community. Our daily gathering of a community to talk and have some distractions and diversions from not only the day, but everything that's going on in the world. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's like a lot of things that used to be kind of easy are now a pain in the butt to deal with. I was having a data issue with one of my phones. So instead of being able to deal with it simply and easily, it was a big rigmarole, several hours on the phone with the carrier, although they were excellent and they really helped out a lot. Then there was, we had to take the dog to the vet. Hello, Nick Rupert. Hello, Jerry Vicich. Hello, Diane Howell. I see other people lurking. If you don't wave, I'm not going to say hi because maybe you just want to watch and maybe you just want to listen and maybe you don't want to be called out. But we had to take my dog Roscoe to the vet. I know, and at a time like this, you know, when so many people are hurting and there's so many cash crunches going on and so many concerns about what's out there and what can happen. If you go out there, you're probably thinking the vet is the last thing you want to do. But it had come to, he was miserable. And you can't quarantine in a house with a miserable dog. So we took my boy Roscoe, who's the sweetest guy in the world, to the vet. But it wasn't just like going to the vet. First off, the vet had to come outside. They're wearing masks. We're wearing masks. There's people walking up without masks. There's people trying to come up close to you going, hey, what kind of dog is that? You're trying to move away from people without acting like, you know, they're hideous, like they're a leper somehow. Finally got him in. They had to drain his anal glands. First off, I didn't know until all this started happening that dogs had anal glands. I thought they just, like us, they just had a bung hole and that was it. And I don't really want to talk about this all day. But so what happened was he was like pretty well, the glands back there in his backside were really full and they had to drain those and he already feels 100% better. And he was the sweetest guy in the world. I always think of him as some aggressive dog. He's aggressive, but he's not. He's just the sweetest guy in the world. And the vet assistant told me when she brought him out, she goes, he was really good. He really took to us. He just kept trying to give me his paw. So that broke my heart. That almost brought a tear to my eye. So my little boy, Roscoe, my dog, is feeling better. We've got two great dogs here, Chica and Roscoe. We describe Chica as 8 pounds of fun, although she might be 10 right now. And Roscoe is the dude. So we had to go today to the vet, and we had to go to a T-Mobile store. There's a lot of traffic out there. We have pretty much remained, fairly sequestered throughout this, except for trips to the store. But when we have stepped out, we've noticed, especially in our town, very few people wearing masks, very few people wearing gloves. The problem I had with the mask I was wearing today is it kept slipping. I kept grabbing it. One of the reasons to wear a mask is that it keeps you from grabbing your face. All right. But I had a mask that kept slipping, so I kept grabbing it. So God only knows. God only knows. We are moving into the first month of this. I know there is some people who are not being as cognizant of social distancing. Some are even more. Shirley and I are probably even more so now. Here's our, here's our thought when we go out. I know I coughed. Everybody went, oh, God. Here's our thought when we go out. If we're going to be put through this, where our businesses are impacted in such a major way, and if we're going to embrace this, we're going to embrace the social distancing and try to stay home and away from people as much as humanly possible, then when we go out, we might as well not then throw all caution to the wind, you know, and go out, eating candy out of a bowl and licking our fingers and stuff. So we're going out with masks, going out with gloves. We don't know if we're doing it right. Maybe every little bit helps. It is literally one day at a time right now. I think for a lot of us, when the whatever term they would. Okay, we were off for a second. Now we're back. Whatever term they were trying to use to get us to stay in, social distancing, etc. If they would have told us a month ago that you're going to be at least a month, you shouldn't leave your house, I think a lot of us would have flipped out. We have a break in the action. The action should be back, Diane. We should be right back on right now. And that's a shame, too. We're starting to get a whole bunch of viewers here. These things are going to happen. Jerry Vicich, Mike Ramsey, and 9 others are watching with you. Cool. Hey, you know what else, guys? You can do a watch party with this thing, too. If you want to invite people in, if you look where you're watching, it's an invite to a watch party, especially Saturday night. By the way, Saturday night, I'm going to show you the granddaddy, the big Booyah Mac Daddy of my autograph collection. Jerry, I showed them the Mick Fleetwood autograph yesterday and told the story behind it. But Saturday night, we're going to show you the Booyah Mac Daddy of my autograph collection. It is major and it is cool. I'm going to show you something major and cool today, too. Some of you might think what I'm going to show you today will be cooler than what I'm going to show you on Saturday. You'll have to decide. You have to watch today and you'll have to watch Saturday. Kelly Carter says, it's getting harder to not be able to see my kids. You're darn right about that, Kelly. Shirley and I cannot see our little grandchildren who are at this house on a regular basis their entire lives. One is 8 and one is 10. And from the day they were born, they've been coming here. And we're not seeing them now. And that really, really hurts. And I can't see my daughter in Los Angeles, nor can I see my brother in Los Angeles. So, but there was a great song on Outlaw Country today on Sirius by a guy named James Isabel. And it was just fantastic. And he said, we might not be able to see each other for a while, but then we may have 40 years together again. So that's the idea, folks. We're going to have to go through this for a little while, but then we could have, years and decades where we'll really be able to appreciate our loved ones, the ones that we're not connected with. Hey, let's get to, unless anybody else wants to discuss about that anymore, a couple things real quick. This coming Tuesday night at 6 p.m., we're holding a brand new beginning class. We have a beginning class that meets on Thursdays. Already started, already going. We got a brand new one meeting this Tuesday. If you ever thought about doing stand-up comedy, if you want to be a writer, I'm now being hired to edit people's books. Isn't that cool? People go, I've written this book, and I've done that before, by the way, but I just got hired again yesterday to edit someone's book. So if you ever thought about being a writer, if you want to get your thoughts on paper, you want to be clear and cogent, I'm your guy. I'll help you out with that. But this Tuesday, we have a brand new beginning workshop start at 6 p.m. Five classes that'll meet on Tuesday at 6 p.m. If you're thinking about doing something like that, even if it's just to kind of break the boredom, go to comedyschools.com or comedyschoolsradionetwork.com and we can get you signed right up. We got a great advanced class going. I'm going to tell you all about more about that in the coming days. Here's our first autograph of the day. Our first knick-knack, paddywhack, a little piece of memorabilia I've laying around the house. They're just laying around gathering dust. What's up with you, Jimmy? Here we go. You see that? Everybody sees that? Everybody sees that? You see that? What is that? Facebook Live, friends. What is that, YouTubers? ComedySchoolsRadioNetwork.com. People can't see it, so I'm going to tell you. This is laminated in a plaque. This is an autographed Bob Gibson baseball card. Bob Gibson. Bob Gibson was a hero, a god, a golden god in St. Louis, Missouri in the mid-'60s. One of the greatest baseball pitchers of all time. Took the St. Louis Cardinals to 3 World Series and 2 World Series titles. He was 6'1". He weighed 189. He batted right and he threw right. He was born in 1935 in Omaha, Nebraska. His debut was April 15, 1959, and he was nominated for the Hall of Fame, inducted in the Hall of Fame in 1981. What this says on the back here is, congratulations, you have just received a card that was personally autographed by Bob Gibson, pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. Here's the sad thing. I don't remember where I got this. but somebody got it for me. And that's what I'm talking about with the stuff we have around our house that we just take for granted. We take the people in our house for granted. Let's not do that. But we take so many of the cool things that we have for granted. Autographed Bob Gibson commemorative baseball card. I mean, how cool is that? This was printed in 2004. It's his autograph. What's cool about it was years before that, years before I got this, I was always talking about autographs and autographed baseballs and how much I like the St. Louis Cardinals. And some guys in my stand-up comedy class decided to play a prank on me and give me a fake signed Bob Gibson baseball, which they thought was funny, which pissed me off to no end. It was the same thing a long time ago. Someone gave me an autographed Black Sabbath 8x10, and it was fake. So people think that kind of shit's funny. I don't. I think almost everything is funny, but it all got made up for because somebody remembered that and got me an autographed Bob Gibson, one of the greatest baseball pitchers of all time. Bob Gibson had an interesting career because he pitched in what was, for all intents and purposes, a segregated city. And he pitched for the St. Louis Cardinals at a time when white flight was vacating the entire heart of the city of St. Louis. And it weighed on him a bit, or maybe more than a bit, that when he looked out in the stands, he saw nothing but white faces, people he knew were prejudiced, many were prejudiced, who still cheered him. And it's always been that odd thing in sports, hasn't it? A lot of people who carry a certain amount of racial animosity will still cheer for, they'll cheer for Michael Jordan. You know, they'll cheer for Kawhi Leonard. They'll cheer for LeBron James. They cheered for Bob Gibson, but they wouldn't want to live next door to them. I would be thrilled to live next door to Bob Gibson. So that's our first autograph of the day. Jim Perry says, as your local security expert, due to showing us everything in your house, I will be storing your things moving forward in a secret location. Yeah, we can do that, except none of this stuff's worth anything anymore. You know, we're now at the Beanie Baby moment in collectibles. If you were around in the 90s, Beanie Babies became a thing, and certain Beanie Babies became ungodly expensive, and there was a whole economy built around Beanie Babies. One day, just the bottom dropped out. People paid $300 for a little Beanie Baby that the next day was worth 30 cents. 30 cents. Hey, Doug Steinhorf from the early days, West Hollywood, of getting sober and hanging around the Laugh Factory and the Melrose Improv, and the Lions Hall over in West Hollywood. It's always good to see you. You know, it's Doug I knew when we were young guys, early 20s. I mean, late 20s, early 30s. And we were all starting a new path in life. And I know you now live in Arizona, and I just think it's weird that we have never had a chance to see one another. So are we having a technical issue, Cheryl?
No.
Okay. My wife was pushing on some wire somewhere. All right, let's get to the music. What am I going to recommend for you to listen to today? All right. Here's one of the badasses of soul and disco. But here it is right here. Look at that. YouTubers, see that? What a great album cover. Let's look at the back. There's the man, the myth, the legend himself. Who is that, ladies and gentlemen? That is Isaac Hayes, and this is Hot Buttered Soul. Hot Buttered Soul. All right, this is an incredible album. His version of by the time I get to Phoenix on this is just incredible. It features the Bar-Kays. He also has an incredible version of Walk On By. All right, so if you're looking for something different to listen to, if you're like me and you like to find the well from which things sprung, and sometimes they go a little weird, you want to listen to Isaac Hayes. You want to listen to Hot Buttered Soul. You want to listen to his version of By the Time I Get to Phoenix. You want to listen to his version of Walk On By. This is truly a stunning record, unlike almost anything you could possibly listen to. He changed the music scene. A lot of what he did later on just became standard disco. But he kind of helped invent so much of those riffs and rhythms and beats, along with George Clinton in Parliament. that later on became the backbone for disco. And I know most people my age who are my color hated disco. I didn't hate disco. It wasn't my thing, but it was fun to dance to. And I get a kick out of going back and listen to it now. I like going back and listen to Gloria Gaynor's Don't Leave Me This Way. Or even I no longer cringe at Rod Stewart's Do You Think I'm Sexy? Do you think I'm sexy? And you want my money? They played that song so many damn times. You just wanted to rip your radio out and throw it out on the middle of Sunset in La Brea. All right, so check out Isaac Hayes. You'll be glad that you did. If you've never listened to Isaac Hayes before, or if you only know him from one or two tunes. Isaac Hayes, Hot Buttered Soul. Hello, Jim Lacey. Hello, Patrick Helland. Hello, Sammy J. He says, I own that fantastic album, Isaac Hayes. I bet you do, Jim. I bet you do. I'm going to send you another lyric, Jim. Jim Lacey, a songwriter, wrote music for that was recorded by Dusty Springfield, and now is a friend of mine. And I have a lot of musician friends. I do. I have a lot of comedy friends, but a lot of musician friends are people I've been friends with over the years. Steve Jones from the Sex Pistols, and I'm going to tell a great story. Saturday night, I will tell my Steve Jones Sex Pistols story. Cheryl, remind me when it's Saturday night. I go, you said you were going to tell that story. Okay? The autograph, the big daddy of my autographs, I will reveal Saturday night, and tell my Steve Jones Sex Pistols stories hanging out with him in New York City. I'm friends with him. I'm friends with the bass player from Megadeth. I'm friends with the bass player from Duran Duran. And have just found sort of a communion with a guy named Jim Lacey out there in Teja, in Texas. Songwriter and great social warrior, and I mean that in the best of ways. And he's the reason we are doing this every day right now. He suggested it, and for some reason, I felt this connection with Jim Lacey just from Facebook posts going back and forth, going, I'm going to listen to this man. That's what I decided, Jim. Okay, so second album. Here we go. Look at that. And look at that on YouTube. Great artwork. Look at that. Okay, so what did I just show you? I showed an album that is entitled Ace. What is Ace? Ace is Bob Weir, the rhythm guitarist for the Grateful Dead, now the leader of Dead and Company. This was his solo album. That's right, Jerry Vicich. This was his album, put out around 1972. Around that time, the Dead were putting out their solo projects. Garcia put out his incredible first solo album with Deal and Loser on it, and so many songs that became part of the regular Grateful Dead songbook, as did this album. So what Weir had noticed at one point was that the guy who was making the most money in the band was a guy in the band, a guy not in the band, Jerry Garcia and Robert Hunter, because they were writing the songs and they owned the songs. They got the copyright. So he got together with a friend of his in Wyoming, a cowboy kid that he knew, John Barlow, and they started writing songs together. So on this album is Greatest Story Ever Told, Black Throated Wind, Walk in Sunshine, and Playing in the Band. Yeah, of course, Jerry Sugary from Garcia's solo album. Side 2 was Looks Like Rain, Mexicali Blues, One More Saturday Night, and Cassidy. Now, what's amazing about this album is that even though it was his solo, and even though a few years before that, the band was going to fire him because they didn't think he was keeping up. They were going to fire him and Pigpen. Pigpen sadly passed away, drank himself to death at 27. That's a drinker. That's a booze hound, baby. They were going to fire him. They weren't keep it up, and nobody had the gumption to do it, so they just kept showing up. And he stayed in the band. He put out this solo album, and almost every one of these songs are now regulars on Grateful. They were after that for years regular in Grateful Dead playlists, regulars and the offshoots of the Dead after Garcia, and regulars with Dead and Company. Cassidy, of course. One More Saturday Night, great rave up song. Mexicali Blues, always fun to listen to. Looks Like Rain, not one of my favorite tunes, but Playing in the Band, which is now a huge Dead song, and Black Throated Wind. If you've never listened to the Grateful Dead, let me explain to you that not only does that band exist and survive and thrive because of the richness of the songbooks that they pull from and create, Okay, not only is it surviving that, but because they've been completely different musical genres in ways. The closest, the Beatles became a completely different band with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Completely different sound. How did the guys who did Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, how could they be the same guys who wrote She Loves You, Yeah, Yeah, Yeah? But it made sense. It connected through. And if you listen to Live Dead 1969, you're hearing a jazz record. You're hearing a psychedelic jazz record unlike anything you've ever listened to before, unless you're a John Coltrane fan. But then just a year or two after that, they put out Ripple. I mean, they put out American Beauty. And they put out Working Man's Dead, and they sound like a folk country band. And somehow it all worked, and they were to merge those things together. And pretty much from Europe 72 on, if you're going to follow this stuff, their album Europe 72, they became the band that we all still listen to today. But if you want to hear some great tunes from the early 70s, okay, from a guy who was almost fired from a band whose music then became the staples of almost every set list they ever did, Bob Weir's Ace. Bob Weir's Ace. Sammy J says, do you like Tower of Power, Average White Man? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. You know what's cool about Bob Weir is that now he fronts Dead & Company. Dead & Company consists of Bob Weir, original guitar. They say that it's 3 of the original members, but they're kind of fudging a bit. Mickey Hart, one of the drummers, was not in the original Grateful Dead. He joined like a year or two after. Kind of like Ronnie Wood. Ronnie Wood's been in the Rolling Stones longer than any other guitarist, longer than Brian was, or longer than any of the other guitarists that preceded him, but he wasn't an original member. Longer than Brian Jones, longer than Mick Taylor, but he's not an original member. Mickey Hart. So Dead & Company consists of Bob Weir on guitar, all right, a guy named, I can't pronounce his name, Odeberg. Okay, a guy who played bass for a while with the Allman Brothers, Jeff Chiminetti on keyboards, and Mickey Hart and Bill Kreutzmann on drums. So 2 of the guys who've been with the band since 64, 65, one who's been with the band since 67, and the new guys. Here's the cool thing about the band. All right, Bob Weir didn't decide that he would now become the lead guitarist. They went and hooked up. They had a few other guys who sat and played, did some tours with them. Great guitarist, Jimmy Herring from Widespread Panic, Warren Haynes from Government Mule and Allman Brothers. But they hooked up with John Mayer. And John Mayer is now the lead guitarist and carries it through. And see, to me, people went, what's going to happen when Bob's gone? What's going to happen when the drummers are gone? Someone else will step in because the music is bigger than the men. The music is bigger than the men. And that's why when you go to a Dead & Company show, not only you see people like me who've been seeing them since 1970, you see people who were born in 2005. You see parents bringing their kids and their kids digging it because the music is bigger. And that proves that there's something bigger than all of us. And it proves that there's something good and beautiful and positive in the world above and beyond all of us. And I want you to keep a hold of that notion. Okay? And I want you to do what you can do. To keep a hello, Mikey Burnham. I want you to do what you can do. To keep body and soul and heart and mind together. All right? Because when this passes, it's going to be a mighty time. It's a mighty time right now. My brother Jerry True, he's brought Evan to 4 shows. I brought Alicia to shows. I got my wife Shirley has been to. How many Dead & Company shows have we been to? She says a dozen. A dozen. So she never saw the original Grateful Dead, but she's now. We now go see a Dead & Company on a regular basis. Every once in a while, she goes, "You can just go." So there's something bigger and greater and better than all of us and for all of us. And it's going to be coming up. Okay. I got to wrap up. Okay. I still have tons of stuff to do before I teach my 6 p.m. beginner class. If you went, damn it, I got to do something else. I got to tap my inner creativity. I got to recharge my creativity. Okay. I want to be with a group of people who are doing something creative as a group. Go to comedyschools.com or comedyschools.radionetwork.com and sign up for our beginning class April 21st. If you have taken classes with us before, sign up for our beginning class or advanced class starting April 22nd. Okay? All right, now, I don't know if I told this joke already, but I'm going to tell you a joke then today. Okay, so here's the joke. Did I already tell the one about the guy with the little dog who comes in? Guy walks into a bar with a little dog. Guy walks into a bar with a little dog. The Dallas Cowboys are on television playing some team. That team doesn't matter. Guy sets his little dog in a bar, orders a drink, and then tells the bartender, says, every time Dallas kicks a field goal, this dog will do a backflip. Guy goes, no, it's like a little terrier. And the bartender goes, oh, I don't know, pal. I don't know. Okay, fine. He goes, and if he does, you'll give me a free drink. Bartender goes, okay, buddy, sure. What the hell? So Dallas gets the ball, marches down the field, gets to the 20-yard line, can't convert to a first down, kicks a field goal. Dog does a backflip. Guy goes, pretty cool, pal. Gives him a drink. Because he probably can't do it again. He goes, well, let's see. If Dallas tries to kick a field goal, and if he gives me a flip, if he flips, you give me another drink. Bartender goes, okay, all right, okay, pal. So Dallas gets the ball, gets down the 20-yard line, can't convert. Okay, it's fourth and 5, 4th and 7, and so they kick a field goal. Bartender gives the guy a drink because there you go, pal. They do it a third time. They get to 4th and 8, can't convert. They kick a field goal. 3 times. Dallas kicked the field goal. 3 times the dog did a backflip. Finally, the bartender goes, pal, let me ask you a question. He goes, yeah. He goes, what does this dog do when Dallas scores a touchdown? Guy goes, I don't know. I've only had the dog for 3 years. Okay. That's our joke for the day, ladies and gentlemen. I got to run. You keep having fun. I'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. right here. Same time, same bat. I'm not going to say bat channel. Bats are not popular right now. Same channel. You've been watching Living on a Thin Line with me, Tony Vicich. You've been watching on Facebook Live, YouTube on Comedy Schools. Please subscribe to us there and listen on Comedy Schools Radio Network.com. Bye-bye. Hold on, YouTubers. I got to shut you down, but I got to make sure I share this video. There we go. All right, YouTube friends. I got to end it. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your pals. There's something to watch at 2 o'clock every day, Mountain Standard Time, and it's us together. Bye. Got it in on time, too, didn't I?